statewide.
Good
Yes.
evening, everyone.
Bro,
Yes, and
And
to
that's, by the way, what I think Californians deserve as answers to these questions.
Oh, I gotta
Yes.
drop
Please
off my
open the
charcoal.
stating that
yes, I will take your tax dollars and give them to people that invaded our country illegally. It's like, she thinks that this is like a partisan issue. No one that has a job wants this. It's only the communists that are interested in something like this because they've convinced themselves that they're just gonna eat the rich and take all their money and redistribute it to people, and then they'll worry about, you know, the tyrannical government that follows. You know, like, this only works for like the commie retards.
California's taxpayers should pay for the health care of everybody. Actually, deserves to pay
They're
as
so
if it's
good.
some sort of
Like,
punishment.
she let the woke Twitter talking points take over, and the average human is not interested at all.
For being her tax cap. It wasn't even an argument of humanity, it was the smugness of entitlement. As she repeatedly
Yes, we
said,
are entitled to your money, yes.
the choir loudly.
The sanctuary state policy is designed to make sure that our state resources, the taxpayer dollars, the public servants that we have, are focusing on doing their jobs.
Why would you ever live there? Why would you ever live in a state where your tax dollars are not going to your benefit at all? Like, that's the point of tax, right? The point of tax is, well, we need to give X amount to the government for us, you know, so that they can have a military that protects us, so that they can fund hospitals or whatever that helps us, so that they can pave roads that we need to drive on. That's the argument for taxes, that there is some sort of equivalent exchange to some degree. Obviously, it's bullshit. We need to abolish taxes entirely. That shit sucks. But, you know, I think we shouldn't have more than a 10% tax. That's insane. Because obviously the government is so busy wasting our money on bullshit. But, like, why? What argument could you possibly make that our tax dollars should be put to people that invaded our country illegally, that should not be here, that are not contributing tax-wise, largely? Like, why on earth should we be paying for that?
Which is not cooperating with the federal immigration authorities. These are Californians that contribute to our economy and pay taxes, and they're one of the only ways that our state is growing in recent years.
Openly
Play it part out loud. We're only growing because of illegal aliens.
admitting that U.S. citizens are escaping the state in such large numbers that it can only be offset with wide open borders with promises of endless free gifts from your taxes. And that's after California already lost a congressional seat in 2021 for the first time ever, and is predicted to lose another 5 seats due to Democrat mismanagement. California is a literal paradise on earth. The Democrats turned into a zombie apocalypse, also they could line their pockets through the homeless industrial complex.
Yeah, we're not getting a Republican governor of California.
As Katie wasn't the only idiot that would perpetuate endless spending on illegals.
On the question of health care for the undocumented,
I said everybody in California
So you would
has a right to health care. And let's answer this
California
out.
should fund
The
that.
truth of the matter, immigrants make this state run. The fact of the matter is, we had a broken immigration system.
There's a difference between illegal aliens and migrants that came legally. Like, there is such an obvious difference, and they muddy the waters as much as they possibly can because the left uses words to lie to you. They don't believe in any of the things they say.
And now you want to
Hey, what's up?
who are working here and making the state run.
Thank you,
As
sir.
Antonio said, try and get rid of them. You
Let's
can't do it.
let's go to
Saying try to get rid of them, I can't do it when I'm pretty certain ICE has deported over 1,000 a day, with a reported 2 million self-removals since Trump has taken office. And when Democrats tried to stop ICE from entering sanctuary cities like Los Angeles,
I'm kind of casually doing quests and collecting resources at the same time, exploring, uncovering map.
has only increased, as immigration is something
Yeah.
with 2021, but now even the Democrats are attacking each other over this.
He'll be back over by me in a little bit, I'm sure.
Damage your opponents is worse.
But,
That's what we see happening. Everyone knows that Trump...
I've got an open game, so if you want to make a new character and join me, you're welcome to it.
The Democrats, the party of sex trafficking, never let them forget this.
To hear these candidates now talk about that, if they're so concerned, why haven't they taken any action to find these lost kids?
They saved like 200,000 children under Trump so far. What are you talking about?
As the New York Times reported, 85,000 kids were now missing under Biden. Now he did try to explain it.
with the unaccompanied migrant kids and where we stand.
So he admitted it before in Congress, and now he's walking it back for some sort of political gain? Oh my God!
I've never heard that number. Chips under your hand, Captain. I don't know where it comes from, and so I can't attest. I would say it doesn't sound at all to be realistic. And what we do is we try to follow up as best we can with these kids. Congress has given us certain authority. Our 30s essentially end the moment we have found a suitable sponsor to place that child with. We try to do some follow-up, but neither the child or the sponsor is actually obligated to follow up with us.
But even hyper-left outlets reported on the migrant kids being forced into labor under Biden, where children sealed cereal boxes every 10 seconds on dangerous assembly lines after coming into the country to meet a relative she never met. So when faced with this terrifying reality that they created and actually acknowledged, they now simply deny what made it back alive while hiding behind the power to follow up with that many people, conveniently forgetting the legal process of immigration would prevent movements. And it isn't even a one-off story, as even 9 months ago, ICE conducted an immigration raid on a California platform, finding over 10 unaccompanied kids working on that platform. But apparently, that's just an example. As open. This is basically the only way the Democrats can retain power in an
Slave labor.
as Riverside Giuliano knows exactly what's happening with immigration.
So you support them because they don't even know
Like the one Republican
what the governor can do. Or if they do, they're lying.
Something
In 2017, that's when California became a sanctuary state. We absolutely told lawyers, told the people voting, this is what's going to happen.
God damn.
Going to communities to find these people because they're criminals, they're victimized. Right now, they just come into the jail. Nobody knows what's happening, and they just if we do this, ICE is going to have to go into the streets, and this is what you're going to have. That's why grandma's going to get taken away.
Come on, load the gun. It seems like they load so much fucking faster than me. And why is that crippled ship still running?
Knowingly made sanctuary states and cities.
it's basically
honestly insane. They don't even care about the illegals getting deported. They are using them as bait to fund their violent insurrections against Trump for political lobbying. Oh my God.
and campaigning on fixing said issue.
When you expect they don't go lower, bro.
It would ICE the same way with fuel prices, jacking up the taxes and fees on gas while banning its production, then campaign on fighting Trump and his evil increases on gas prices. And if anybody points out their objective failures with more tax dollars, they just shamelessly ask for war. Just like with their now $200 billion would they be high-speed rail failure.
It'll cost another $30 billion to finish California high-speed rail from Merced to Bakersfield. We have overpasses. Do you finish it? Yes or no? Mayor Villalobos. Yes. Congresswoman Porter. Yes, if you can build it faster and cheaper than it's Sheriff Bianco.
No, I would rather arrest the people that stole our money.
All right.
That's my guy. That's my guy. Right there. That's the goat.
We should arrest anybody involved in this crime. Democrats refuse to follow suit. It's probably because they're planning on getting out of too. As they are treating this like a
Dude, they spend $100 million on this thing that doesn't exist. But where did the money go? I want to vote for the guy that'll put the people that did that shit in jail. Absolutely.
manufacturing infrastructure. They're treating it like manufacturing meaningless jobs. And everybody wants unemployment to go down, so of course they can skim off the side, since nobody wants to be the guy with the mass layoffs. So right now, I'm Sheriff Chad Bianco wins the primary.
That
with
is
Steve Miller.
insane, man. That is crazy. We might be getting a Republican governor in California. This only exists because the left is so fucking retarded. They're pushing everyone away because they're actually retards.
For today's video, we've scoured the internet, sifting through blog posts, forums, and some questionable websites to bring you 50 facts about your body, your mind, and the world around you that you probably didn't know. Whether you consider yourself an avid learner and connoisseur of random facts, or just a curious mind leaders of trivia to share with your friends, I guarantee you, in today's video, you'll learn something that you never heard of before. A blue whale can eat 500,000 calories in a single mouthful. Blue whales are the largest animals on Earth, but as far as we know, the largest animals to ever exist in all of history. Being so massive and possessing advantages, after all, adult blue whales essentially have no natural predators other than a large pack of orcas and, of course, humans. However, maintaining this unbelievable size requires an equally unbelievable amount of food. The main food source for these gentle giants is krill, a tiny crustacean that gets to about half an inch long at their largest. Blue whales hunt them by swimming into a large school with their mouth open and, in a process called filter feeding, close their mouth and push out the seawater while leaving all of the krill trapped inside. In a large gulp, an adult blue whale can swallow more than 450,000 calories of krill in a single bite, more than making up for the 1900 or so that they burn just to open and close their enormous mouth. For a human who eats around 2,000 calories a day, this single chomp will keep them fed for 250 days. Volcanoes on the moon. When we look up at the moon today, all there really is to see is a large, rather stony rock covered in various shades of grey. It's easy to think that it was always like this, but millions on millions of years ago, there might have been quite a different story in the sky. Analysis of the moon's surface has showed the volcanic activity was quite intense a long time ago, beginning around 3 billion years ago and largely tapering off around 1 billion years ago, long before the evolution of any complex life that we'd recognise today. However, in 2014, NASA announced the discovery of evidence that volcanism may have still been ongoing as recently as 50 million years ago, which, if true, would mean that throughout all the years the dinosaurs ruled the Earth, and even a time after, bright lava could have lit up parts of the moon's surface in immense awe-inspiring eruptions. Armadillos always give birth to identical quadruplets. It's an incredibly odd sight for a mammal, but every time a 9-inch banded armadillo gives birth, she always has exactly 4 offspring, all of them identical. The reason is because this is the only known vertebrate to split her fertilized egg into 4 genetically identical embryos. It's odd because most animals prioritize genetic diversity to increase the odds of survival, but the 9-banded armadillo just makes 4 clones instead for some reason. Have you ever wanted to keep your skin feeling as fresh and as radiant as you are? Well, listen up, because today's sponsor is Foreo Sweden, and they have the answer. It's the UFO 3, the ultimate deep facial hydration device. Look, I'm not a skincare guru. I'm not making beauty videos on YouTube. That would be weird. But look, I know hydrated skin, that's happy, good-looking skin. And that's what the UFO 3 does. It increases your skin moisture by a whopping 126% in just 2 minutes. That's quicker than brewing your morning coffee. It's the amount of time spent brushing your teeth and you have beautiful skin thanks to it. Why not? Look good! This can reduce the appearance of wrinkles in just 1 week. And as a man who is rather quickly approaching middle age, that's a nice thing. No one knows that. So, what's the secret? Well, the UFO 3 combines combines three things: thermotherapy, cooling cryotherapy, and full-spectrum LED therapy to give you the ultimate skincare experience. Plus, they've got an easy mode for when you're on the go. Just press a button and voila, you're good to go. Plus, you can customize treatments using their app. Warrior's got a special offer for you. Click the link below to get 30% off your UFO 3. And if you use the code 10PROJECTS, you get an additional 10% discount. And don't wait, this offer is for the first 50 people only. So click that link below. Don't forget to use the discount code. Now back to today's video. Supercontinents of the future. Everyone has heard of Pangea, the supercontinent that existed over 200 million years ago, which eventually broke apart and drifted into the continents that we know and love today. However, what you may not know is that there's a good chance of it returning, albeit in a slightly different shape. There are a few names for this future supercontinent, such as Pangea Proxima or Neo-Pangea, and it's estimated that at the current rate of continental drift, we may expect to see it in the next 250 million years or so. Pangea Proxima isn't the only model. Other researchers have suggested various other potential landmasses, such as Amasia, Orica, all differing in size, location, and timeline, but they all share the idea that all continents will eventually meet back up and merge into one giant landmass. Rubber bands last longer when refrigerated. When a rubber band is stretched, the polymer chains that make it up expel thermal energy due to the motion and the tension. The release of thermal energy gradually leads to the crystallization of these polymers, which is why you'll notice that old rubber bands lose their stretch and instead start to become stiff and crumble. Because it's ultimately decompacted, this process is accelerated in environments. Otherwise, it is simply by refrigeration. However, if you plan on putting rubber bands in the fridge to extend their lifespan, be sure not to stretch them immediately after pulling them out of the cold environment, as the stretching can bind with a sudden change in temperature and severely harm integrity. Your brain is constantly eating itself. Phagocytosis is the process in which specific cells in our body engulf and consume things like particles, pathogens, and any sort of debris or waste that pose a threat to the body. One interesting point of this is that it also involves the consumption of our body's own cells, particularly ones that have died or damaged or affected. In our brain, we've developed specified cells known as microglia that handle this process, but with an added task. They also participate in something known as synaptic pruning, a process in which the microglia act and delete neurons and synapses that are no longer deemed vital in order to maximize their efficiency as they age. This self-consumption begins at the time declining in the late 20s, and it's believed that too much of this pruning could be implicated in diseases such as schizophrenia. On the other hand, not enough pruning can cause thinking difficulties in those with fragile X syndrome, as their brains are filled with those pathways that decrease efficiency. The world's oldest university is in Africa. Where many people think of the world's oldest university, popular age-old places like Oxford or Cambridge come to mind. However, what's considered by many to be the world's oldest university is actually older than both of these, and it's located in Africa. The University of Al-Qarawiyyin was founded in the year 859 AD and is still standing today in Morocco. And though it was technically founded as a mosque, it quickly became a hub of education and research during the Islamic Golden Age and for many centuries following it. Thus, UNESCO recognizes it as the oldest continually operating higher learning institution in the world. There are multiple types of hibernation. It's well known that loads of animals utilize hibernation to survive the winter months. By going into a sort of extended deep rest, creatures like bears are able to conserve their energy by sleeping often and rarely eating, which also means that they don't need to head out into the cold to hunt. But not every animal enters a state as deep as hibernation for the entire winter. Other animals, such as birds and mice, enter something called torpor, believed to be an involuntary state of lowered heart rate and metabolism that usually lasts just a few hours to help the animal survive the night. In other parts of the world, however, animals aren't faced with the deadly cold, but rather the deadly heat. These animals, such as desert tortoises, salamanders, and even some hedgehogs, can enter a state known as estivation, a period of lower metabolism to cool their body and preserve their hydration levels. The Sahara is bigger than you think. The Sahara Desert is the largest hot desert on Earth. It's an understatement to say that it's absolutely massive, but maps of the Earth simply don't do justice to its true size. It's estimated that in total, the Sahara is 3.6 million square miles or 9.2 million square kilometers in size, making it roughly the same size as the continental United States, which really puts into perspective just how incredible a journey it must have been for traders who dared to cross it hundreds or even thousands of years ago. The Pope cannot be an organ donor. In 2011, the Vatican announced a clarification. When the Pope dies, his body belongs to the Church in its entirety and must be buried whole. For this reason, the Pope is unable to donate organs after his death because those organs are the property of the Catholic Church. And even if he were able to, there's a chance the situation could get really complicated. You see, if a person is made a saint, their physical remains and sometimes a few of their personal effects become relics, which throughout Catholic history have been revered as holy items that are used in pilgrimages to take holy oaths and, according to some, to perform miracles. If people were to receive the organs of a deceased pope, and that pope were later declared a saint, there would be suddenly a handful of people walking around with official relics inside their bodies. The Earth once became a snowball, perhaps a few times. The Ice Age ended around 11,000 years ago as the glaciers that covered much of the continents melted, retreating back to their current locations around the ice caps. However, this was far from the only time in our planet's history that ice and snow dominated the landscape. Long ago, perhaps between 650 million and a billion years ago, it's been hypothesized that the surface of our Earth went through a period that has been dubbed
as I jingle. All right, stop!
How?
Ship's under your hand, Captain. Got the wind.
Hey, buddy, how you doing? You look like you got to tell me something. What's up? You want a petting? Is that what you want? You want me to move the blanket so you can move in here and get all comfy? Mush my arm, huh? Is that what you want? I still got my question mark to get over here. You are a very mucusy cat. Boogers, eye boogers, nose boogers. Pretty sure you're gonna invent a new kind of booger. That's it. Alright, well.
Captain at the helm! Set more sail! Reach the cutlass! All right. It's a damn tough life, full of toil and strife. Where women undergo. We don't give a damn when the gale is done. How hard the winds did blow. 'Cause we're homeward bound, it's a dreadful sound on a good ship taut and free. And we don't give a damn when we drink our rum, but the girls of old Maui rolling down to old
lure shot. Oh, I did it. I hit it. Ah, surprising.
Enemy ship's gone, Captain. Enemy's lost the ship. Reef the canvas. Just more sail. All at once, as I was a-rolling down Paradise Street,
Hey, hey, blow the band down.
a handsome flash packet I chanced for to meet. Give me some
Time to blow the band down.
This spanking flash packet, she said until me.
Hey, hey, blow the band down.
There's a dandy full rigger just ready for Give me some time to blow the man down. Blow the man down, police, blow the man down. Way, hey, blow the man down. Blow him right over to Liverpool town. Give me some time to blow the man down. This dandy full rigger to London was bound. Way, hey, blow the man down. She was very well rigged and very well found.
What?
Give me some time to blow the man down. So I packed up my sea bags and signed on that day. Way, hey, blow the man down. And with this flash packet, I spent me half pay. Give me some time to blow the man down. Blow the man down, police, blow the man down. Way, hey, blow the man down. Blow him right over to Liverpool town. Give me some time to blow the man down. All at once, we're out Mobile town with a heave-ho-ho, and we'll heave the old wheel round and round. Good morning, ladies all. And when we get to Mobile town with a heave-ho-ho, oh, 'tis there they'll drink and sorrows drown. Good morning, ladies all. Them girls down south are free and gay with a heave-ho-ho. With them we'll spend our hearts. We'll swing around, we'll have good fun with a heave-ho-ho. And soon we'll be back on the homeward run. Good morning, ladies all. And when we get to Bristol town with a heave-ho-ho, when the gale is done, how hard the winds did blow. 'Cause we're homeward bound, it's a grand old sound, on a good ship, taut and free. And we don't give a damn when we drink our rum with the girls of old Maui. Rolling down to old Maui, me boys, rolling down to old Maui. We're homeward bound from the Arctic ground, rolling down to old Maui. How soft the breeze of the tropical seas, now the ice is for us stir. And the native maids in the island glades are awaiting our return. Even now their big black eyes look out, hoping some fine day to see our baggy sails running far.
Motherfucker! Oh, fuck! Come on! Where the fuck is it? Oh my god! Fucking cordless mouse. Alright, god damn.
Ready on the guns.
Man, fucking cordless mouse fucking died right in the middle battle. And my cord with the recharge cord was all tangled up in something. Dick? That was bullshit. Oh my god, the fucking countdown to fucking respawn. I need a game developer to explain to me why the fuck I've got to wait 5 seconds to respawn. Why is that necessary? I want a game developer to explain it to me, like I'm 5.
If you're looking for prey,
Why do I have to wait 5 seconds to respawn? Why can't I just hit a respawn button and respawn at my leisure? Or as quickly as possible.
Ships under your hand, Captain. Here's the wind.
Fuck you. I hate that shit. Like, your weapon should not be able to target trees, man. Oh, yeah, grab bullets or nothing. I got hinky there for a sec. It didn't go at all like as planned. Damn, there's another one. What the fuck? Oh, get! Oh! That shit you got no fucking defense against. I hate that. It's not like I could break that. It's just you fucking just ragdoll my fucking character and there's is that one there? Ah. Fucking hide one from me, huh? Okay. I got a blunderbuss? I don't like that. Alright, so we got that. Let's head a little norther. That's what you get. Oh, no, you don't. No! Give me that bullshit. Oh my god. Of course I don't.
Helm's yours, Captain. More sail, more speed. All hands! We're outward bound for Mobile Town with a
Heave-ho-ho!
and we'll heave the old wheel round and round. Good morning, ladies all. And when we get to Mobile Town with a heave-ho-ho, horses there will drink and sorrows drown. Good morning, ladies all. Them girls down south are free and gay with a heave-ho-ho. With them we'll spend our hard-earned pay. Good morning, ladies all. We'll swing around, we'll have good fun with a heave-ho-ho. And soon we'll be back on the homeward run. Good morning, ladies all. And when we get to Bristol town with a heave-ho. Look that hole! sail the raging sea. For I have plowed the raging main this 20 years or more, but now I'm turned adrift to starve upon my native shore. By raging storms and tempests, shipwreck 3 times I've been, and many a bloody battle upon the seas I've seen. I've seen the cannon's glaring flash, I've heard its thunderous roar, though now I'm turned adrift to starve upon my native shore. Should hostile fleets e'er venture upon the raging main, true hearts of oak, we British tars will push to sea again, and bravely bring their ships to port as we have done before. So help us now while we're in want upon our native shore. Come pity gentle strangers, a luckless British tar. In your defense he may have hurled the thunderbolts of war. Come lend some kind assistance, and heaven will bless your store. For now I'm turned adrift to starve upon my native shore. Come on! Help me, Bob, I'm bully in the alley. Way, bully in the alley. Help me, Bob, I'm bully in the alley. Bully down in Shinbo now. Sally is the girl that I love dearly. Way, bully in the alley. Sally is the girl that I love nearly. Bully down in Shinbo now. Oh, help me, Bob, I'm bully in the alley. Way, bully in the alley. Ship's gone, Captain.
He's sneaking.
Captain at the helm! Set for sail!
I'll listen to some videos.
Now, it looks like we might be getting a Republican mayor of Los Angeles. All right, not only are the Republicans actually dominating in the governor race, but the mayoral race, too. This is insane. So, this was a massive story. 300 agents just raided Los Angeles' drug barn. Fentanyl haul shocks everyone. 19 kilos of seed. That's enough to wipe out a city, by the way. All right, Karen Bass, the current mayor of LA, who basically let the entire city burn down to the ground under the fires because she cares about the smelt fish, so she didn't want to use water without fires. That's right, LA, the only place on the planet that has more genders than fire hydrants that actually have water in them. All right, so she is getting absolutely obliterated right now. First, you have to understand why leftist policy is pushing literally everyone against the left. All right, so this will radicalize an entire generation. This is LA policy. And then I'm going to show you the LA race, where it looks like you're going to be getting a Republican mayor in Los Angeles. I literally can't believe that. Like, everyone's flipping because the left is so fucking retarded.
What is this? Is someone asking to turn the speaker down?
Gotta be kidding, boy. This motherfucker got his headphones on. He told me to put my speaker down. And he got his motherfucking headphones on. We out your mind, my man.
Just why do you have to listen to the speaker?
I want to cut you. So shut your fucking mouth there. So shut your mouth there. I'm business, you bitch. Why you have to jump out there?
Bro, ain't nobody wants to live like this.
You got
He's literally just trying to read a book. Just trying to read it.
bitch. What do you think I was a punk or something? Yeah, that's the best thing you better do. Move, you bitch ass motherfucker.
Remember what I said before about how, like, anybody that has this crash out over being perceived and being disrespected, just lock them up. Just institutionalize them immediately.
That dude is definitely in the rap sheet.
Yeah, that's what you gotta do. That's what you better do. Yeah. You don't want no drama with me, motherfucker. I'll cut your face open.
Yep. Get him out. We don't need to play this game.
Put my speaker
But
down.
if I call this guy a monkey on race, do you understand how unfair society is?
Isn't it crazy how easy this problem would be to solve? And we don't do it.
I'll cut your...
We have a button. The fix everything easily button. And we refuse to push the fucking button. Alright, and this is what society looks like, especially in places like LA. And when you look at the people that are doing their absolute best to manipulate us, alright, and yes, I mean like the actors, the actresses, the Hollywood people, but this is them, they're also complete freaks.
50-year-old actress Charlize Theron, her biggest ick is when a guy wants to make love to her and reveals that it causes her to get instantly turned off. Wait, what?
And no one wants to do this.
So what's your take?
When you want to be with the upper class people, complete fucking freaks, or you want to be with the lower class people, they will rip your face off and not go to jail for it.
Whenever a guy says, I would like to make love to you, Nick. Just the dry heat. There's a lot to unpack, but actually there isn't. It's just very simple. Don't fucking say it.
Don't say love me.
Because my vagina closes up.
Okay.
Why don't these people?
What? Who said that?
It's true.
Somebody's shocked.
All the ladies know what I'm talking about.
What is it about the word lovemaking that is such a turnoff?
I don't want you to make anything with me. I want you to do something with me. Yeah, let's.
Women be like, we need to consent to every single move you make, even after we're already in a relationship. Also, women be like, I just want you to fucking take me. That's right. Ultimately, they want men. All right, and after a generation of doing their best to emasculate men, they're like, holy shit, we have no men anymore. The only actual men out there are the ones that are, you know, married, largely religious, traditional men that don't actually want to sleep around with every whore on the street.
Do it. Like, well, don't say that either. That's fucking lame. Just don't talk.
This is the thing, like, so this is why it's so confusing for guys.
You hear this really pretty lady who's an actress say, don't ask this, just do it.
But then if you don't say anything, you aren't obtaining consent. So you should also have to get consent. It's like you don't even really know what you want. So how can you expect somebody else to?
I know.
Decision makers in society, and inherently women actually want that. Women ultimately want strong men in their life. Women want strong men to lead their country. That's what they want. However, they are manipulated and groomed into thinking that actually that means that they're weak and less. So on the low rungs of society, you have this fucking in the high rungs of society, you have and LA looks like it's going to be electing a Republican mayor right now.
This is a MAGA Republican's idea of what Los Angeles looks like. This is
good.
Really not.
Spencer Pratt is a man on a mission. As after Mayor Bass allowed his house to be burned down, this isn't so much a campaign for mayor.
He's like, your policy burned my house down, and I am going to burn down your career. That's my guy.
As it's a revenge tour. As at LA's debate for mayor, Spencer went right in.
That was fucking awesome. God, you know, strong men build society and civilization, and strong men are going to save our country.
They burned down the city.
To the Mayor Karen Bass's, the 1,000 firefighters that were available, but there was no engines for them because of the $17 million that Chief Crowley had asked the mayor for 9 weeks before. And Mayor Karen Bass denied it.
This is a nice way of him to say you are a useless, pathetic bitch.
She drained both of these reservoirs that these firefighters needed. And Pursuit Palisades never reached for those
John Wicking all of Los Angeles right now, and he's winning.
6 hours, they didn't go above 27 miles per hour. He's saying several things that are completely inaccurate. First of all, there was one reservoir that was out of commission. So the winds reached close to 100 miles an hour.
Only half the water was missing, not all the water.
And the planes were unable to fly. So if there were reservoirs, if that reservoir had been open, it would not have worked. She's an incredible liar. On their phones, Googling 40 weather stations in the Pacific Palisades. It never went above 40 miles per hour. She's referencing Altadena fire.
I have to interrupt you.
Now, of course, the moderator.
I have to interrupt you. There's no way that we're going to have a retard lose an election in Los Angeles.
Cruz will step in to assist the establishment candidates, but it just highlights how desperate they are to dispel.
By the way, this is democracy. All right, every leftoid screams about democracy. Democracy is when the civilian is like, I'm fucking tired of this shit, and rallies the other civilians behind him and overthrows the establishment. That is true democracy. And this moderator, this allegedly neutral party, interrupting banks for the establishment candidate, that is a threat to democracy. And
God damn.
The threats to democracy all come from the left. The people that import infinite retards, the ones that don't want fair elections, the ones that aren't pushing against voter ID, those are the anti-democracy people. It's not the Republicans.
As we covered their lies in depth back in 2025, when Mayor Trash came back from Ghana and basically refused to answer any questions. Even Fox News tried to cover for her.
You gotta have water. And my understanding is the reservoir does not be filled in time.
That's right.
And in a timely manner to keep the hydrants going.
Despite what you have heard from Caruso, no firefighters have told us that they are running out of water.
And let's go out to Gigi Gracia. She is live in Pacific Palisades.
Well, firefighters have told me they have no water on this block.
Motherfucker.
You're like, there's no enforcement. They're out of water. There's on the ground. There's on the ground. They're out of water.
How much you hate the mainstream media, you don't hate them enough.
Look at them all swarming now.
Admitted it, they framed it as the homeowner's fault.
And those water meters ran dry. Part of the problem is a lot of people are using hoses, trying to understandably hose down their lawn.
You're fucking kidding. A guy used the hose. We're out of water in this fucking city. A guy used the hose. A guy used the hose because his house was on fire and he tried to put it out. Wow, wow.
I was hoping that would stop the fire. Firefighters would say, that's not going to stop the fire.
So just over a year later, Mayor Basura is gonna pretend this didn't happen. But for the people like Spencer Pratt, who actually had their homes burned down, it's not something he'd simply forget and believe Basura's revisionist history. But now, Bass's asinine campaign is saying she's the real victim.
It was one of the worst moments of my life to not be here when my son needed me.
I was the real victim of the fires that burnt down all of your house. Because I was on vacation and I wasn't even in the country.
It didn't matter who I was or why
It did matter actually that you were not in the country and that you were burning down, yeah.
was away. To me, it reminds me of like if you're away and a family member is in an accident. But I think that I deserve a second term. Fight for that.
What if your family member was in an accident?
Because we have made significant progress in a variety of areas. For example, homelessness was going up year after year. And under my watch, it is the first time we've had a decrease in street homelessness.
And let's be clear, this is also something we covered on this channel. As LA only
God, I
does
fucking
homelessness
miss.
because one, they changed the parameters of who qualified as homeless.
Running it down. Well, you just don't consider robbery as crime anymore, and all of a sudden, crime is down.
Meaning living in your car didn't count anymore, and then they both reduced the amount of
Living in your car doesn't count as home. They literally don't have a home. It's in the word. What are we doing?
employees counting and the hours they were allowed to count.
Do you feel like, based on what you're seeing, that we have an accurate count or idea of how many homeless live within the county of Los Angeles?
Oh my God.
The only numbers that got counted were the night counts, which the night counts were pretty much zeros.
Do you think overall losses
keep my distance.
lower?
I think it's going to impact.
I'll wait for a volunteer. Oh, they're gonna team up. They're both coming in at the same time.
Use words to control you.
But based on what I see on the streets, it's not down.
And as bad as this jukes the stats in itself, the real reason they can say they're ending homelessness is in LA. Over 6 of them die every single day. As
HW, you fucking told the homeless. Homelessness isn't ours. And all it took was a leashing pestilence upon their camp.
Yes, that was pretty sweet.
Rampant drug problem has somehow been rebranded as a win for homelessness. But at least Spencer.
Don't hit him! Don't hit him! Ah, I'm gonna hit him! I didn't hit him, but I came damn close.
That's actually true, by the way. A lot of people don't know this. Homelessness is almost always not because of financial problems. It's always because of drug addiction problems. This obviously is not every single time, but this is a majority of cases. They'll ask homeless people, like, why are you homeless? Drugs.
Plan for treatment first. I will go below the Harbor Freeway tomorrow with her, and we can find some of these people she's going to offer treatment for. She's going to get stabbed in the neck. These people do not want a bed. They want fentanyl or Superman. These ideas cost us over $400 million to house 70, what is it, 3,000 people for $400 million is an absolute failure for both of them.
As the homeless industrial complex is real, Democrats solve any of this mass suffering in their city when they can just endlessly collect blank checks to fight it. But the only thing worse than a corrupt mayor is someone that wants to be a corrupt mayor.
Do you support the ordinance that restricts encampments in front of schools or daycare centers? Mayor Bass, I'm going to start with you. Yes or no?
Ms. Rama, yes or no?
I support keeping our streets safe. I did vote against the structure of this particular ordinance. And it is because, at its best, it does not, the way this ordinance was structured, it does not keep our children.
It's hilarious to see a simple question become such a nonsensical word salad. But the sad fact is, she can't simply say no. As Spencer shows, homelessness is her cash cow.
That's right.
You know how
homelessness is a business.
Nithya, Manchurian candidate, launder taxpayer money.
God, I love this guy. This guy's incredible.
This nonprofit. Well, boom, she and Karen Bass.
I love how his entire campaign is really driven on pure and utter rage and spite, and it's fucking working.
Hoorah! Would love for you to forget the Shelby fraud when developer Stephen Taylor bought a property for $11 million, and then just a few weeks later, he was able to flip it to an LA homeless nonprofit for $27.3 million. Karen Basura apparently even called the developer personally begging for the property. And despite the developer being arrested and an ongoing federal investigation, Ram Manchurian and the LA City Council still support the project.
It's like these shady politicians don't see their citizens' problems as issues to fix, but opportunities to make themselves rich. As the primary, if not only reason I moved out of Los Angeles 2 years ago was the continuous rampant rise in crime. While Spencer wants to spend money to solve it.
What is your strategy for getting more people, recruiting more officers, and paying for it?
First off, I'm going to bring hiring back to the LAPD. Right now, the LAPD is hired by the same people that hire sanitation, and we need to bring it back like it was 20 plus years ago. This idea that Councilman Rama keeps saying that the police department is overfunded, public safety should be our #1 priority.
Rahman wants to sell you some silly socialist fantasy.
The safety of people in Los Angeles is...
I love how we import foreigners and they literally only fucking have campaigns that benefit foreigners. But not the actual, native population that's getting stabbed. And by native population, I obviously mean the white Europeans that built the country. That's the native. So, that's a Native American. And the foreigners, they come in. Like the people from, India or Pakistan or whatever the fuck, wherever Nguyen Ramen here is from. And she's gonna be pushing this shit. Sorry, man. Sorry. No, we don't want you to be running defense for the illegals, and we actually do want to be protecting the native. This is crazy.
Absolutely essential. But that's why I think we have
We're
to
gonna hire social workers to stop the fucking drug addict terrorists.
start getting honest with people about how we're actually going to respond. So many calls that are coming into LAPD do not require armed officer response.
The whole defund the police and replace them with social workers has never worked, especially in the same city that already tried it. They replaced the actual police with these unarmed Metro ambassadors who just sit there and watch as you get assaulted. Their colorful outfits just make them look like rodeo clowns, watching us get tossed around by the criminals they refuse to do anything about. But keep in mind, Rahman is a city councilor who just unanimously voted to stop LAPD from making traffic stops based on what they consider minor violations.
Insane. People should get rounded up. What are we doing?
Meanwhile, using high-tech, expensive cameras to automatically ticket law-abiding drivers. It's this common theme they constantly repeat. Refuse to enforce any law.
Infinite tickets for the natives to fund the retards and criminals.
Laws on the EBT tribes, meanwhile finding dystopian measures on how to fine and tax anybody dumb enough to still follow the rules. But when someone comes in to actually enforce a law and protect the citizens, Mayor Basura wants to take credit.
Who ordered this operation with the feds? Is it a sign that our communities are not safe? No, actually, that operation was ordered by the feds. However, we have been working in collaboration because we were very well aware of the drug dealing that was taking place here. We have used a comprehensive approach when it comes to McCarthy Park. Multiple things are needed. And so what happened a couple of hours ago was an action that had been in work.
Yes, the feds had to step in to do our job, but we were aware of this, allowing it to take place for many years, so let's go ahead and call it a joint operation.
It's a joint operation, but they did all the work, and I knew about it.
But remember, last time the feds came into MacArthur Park specifically, she ran down there to make her social media moment against the feds stepping in.
They need to leave, and they need to leave right now. They need to leave because this is unacceptable.
It's crazy that the entire stage changed over the last couple of months when people realized, hold up, we have a special button that you could just put people in jail and crime stop. People actually really like that.
So when this federal raid targeted that same park, stopping enough fentanyl to kill over 190,000 people, of course some of the arrests were on individuals already wearing ankle monitors. You really wonder who let these people free to offend again, but it's probably the same people that allowed them to operate in broad daylight with protection against federal law enforcement in this sanctuary city, endangering all of us with their narcotics, also the Democrats can secure their new voter base.
Non-citizens should they be...
Think about it. Who are the criminals going to vote for? The people that put them in jail, or the people that keep letting them out of jail? Who are the illegals going to vote for? With their illegal votes? Are they going to vote for the people trying to deport them, or the people that are actually trying to give them free shit that other people earn? All right, understand, this is just how the left survives. They survive and thrive on the lowest forms of parasites in our society. That is how they exist at all.
They'd be allowed to vote in local elections. Is this a yes or no, Mr. Pratt? No. Mayor Bass.
It's not a yes or no.
It is a yes or no. No! People that aren't citizens shouldn't be voting. What are we even talking about?
Depends on what?
Well, first of all, when you say non-citizens, it doesn't mean they're here illegal.
It does depend.
Yeah, what are we even talking about? Non-citizens, even if they're legal, they shouldn't be able to vote. Why are these people so desperate? So desperate. I mean, we all know the answer. Why are they so desperate to import people from other countries that can vote on the future of our country? Duh, it's because they're going to vote for the party that wants to bring in their entire fucking extended family because America's the best country on the planet.
And in other places, school boards have non-citizens
Yes or no?
non-citizens who
Mr. Pratt, I have a question for you.
Again, it's a 5-on-1 debate, as they've evaded admitting that illegals voting has always been their plan, but their mask has slowly been slipping the more they use more tax dollars to protect their new voter base.
A bold message now posted across Los Angeles, signs going up declaring city property off limits for ICE.
The signs have no legal weight, force, or effect on anything the federal government does.
More than 450 of these signs now posted at parking lots, libraries, the LA Zoo.
And you know, it's all just a giant propaganda campaign to manipulate liberal white women into thinking that ICE is like the Gestapo Nazi army coming to deport innocent people. You know, and it works to some extent. But then you actually realize this is insane. Right? And that's why the leftist vice grip on society is falling apart so bad.
Ready to leave?
And notably, MacArthur Park, one sign and installation could run about $500, bringing the total to around $250,000.
These signs are completely unenforceable and nothing but an empty gesture to show how they're fighting Trump again. The problem being, the city's currently in a $1 billion budget deficit.
It's all just a propaganda campaign. It is a propaganda campaign funded by your tax dollars to rape your wives and children. To bring in the retards that will destroy your civilization. Funded by you. Understand how brutal this is.
Mayor Basura wouldn't dare cut into her virtue signaling sign budget, but good luck to the schools, police, or even providing water for firefighters. So hopefully Los Angeles
There it comes. It's gonna pick him up. Show him right to me. There he is.
I didn't come here looking for apologies. They apologize that admits their failures. And I'm up here because of their failures. That's the only reason I'm running, because I said enough of these failures. We need an outsider. No more politicians, no more lying. We need a truth.
Alright, come on, boys.
I'm still telling absolutely everybody I know that does vote for Spencer Pratt and tell 2 more people they need to as well. And judging by the local NBC affiliate's survey, he's absolutely crushing both Democrats.
I can't even believe it, you know? Like, the fix everything button is getting slammed Everyone's pushing that button right now.
Or share this video with anybody that doesn't necessarily have the time to watch a full hour-long debate, or just doesn't trust the mainstream media.
That's right. Honestly, the tide is shifting, and it's because of citizen journalists. It's citizens that are bringing attention to the issues with society, and it's incredible watching it actually happen. And that's why I say all the people that are like acceleration-ists, that are like, oh, we should vote for Democrats, make sure that the Republicans work harder. No. All we need to do is replace as many fucking retards as we can, purge these motherfuckers, and replace them with some radical assholes that will do the shit that needs to be done. Because it's already happening. And Donald Trump getting elected for president a couple of times, that's
Steam is it's actually crazy how they've just continued to grow and get more popular.
Steam is about to make a whole lot of people mad, and I'm going to tell you right now, it definitely is not the players. In an effort to make Steam a more transparent ecosystem, they are going to be taking recommended hardware out of the hands of developers and publishers, instead, well, they're going to show us exactly what games are actually running on, what performance really looks like for these games, based on our experience. No more lying, no more hiding, no more gaslighting. Everyone will be exposed. This is going to be such a massive, this is going to be such a huge help to players. It is going to instantly.
Are you coming back in?
What games players
What's
buy,
going
when
on?
Players buy these games, and it is
I'm
going to
all right.
a lot of these publishers that have been selling us unfinished garbage for years. So, like most of them, but.
The sitting on my arm. This is a new thing. I don't hate it, but I'm not sure if I like it.
What are they up to? Because with what they're doing now and other things that have happened in the background, years of these guys working on their own hardware and their own games and their own platform, well, I think these guys are building towards something much better. Something that...
It's a very simple thing. Video games that don't deliver the performance that is indicated and that is promised probably have a higher refund ratio. So if Valve can provide the consumer with more information ahead of time that will prevent a negative experience on their platform and also prevent a refund that could cost them money, this is something that's financially beneficial for Valve. So this is the instance where remember what I said before about instead of lowering the price, increase the value? This is the intelligence and the genius of, a person who's trying to make a product and a service better for their customers while at the same time improving it for themselves. So that's the real reason why they're doing this. Like, it's because obviously if you buy a game and then the game gets you 30 FPS, you're going to refund the game. So why the fuck would they want people buying games and then refunding them and thinking that Steam is a scam? Because that's what's going to happen. Duh, of course. This is the intersection where, again, great businesses are able to find this intersection where the company benefits and the customer benefits. And this is, I think, a perfect intersection of that. It's a great idea.
I do not think a lot of people are ready.
It's a win-win. Yes, exactly.
Standardized level of quality in the games industry. Setting expectations permanently. No more questions need to be asked.
You're wrong. It doesn't matter for Valve for refunds since they keep the cut even with the refund. So saying it costs Valve is just pro-consumer.
Damn.
You're thinking about this from a monetary
He pinned me up against the wall. I couldn't see shit.
From the perspective of a person having a bad experience on their platform and then attributing that bad experience to Steam and then not wanting to use Steam. The reality is that whenever a platform is not well regulated and people have bad experiences,
That's where I died?
They're going to be more likely to not use that platform. It's their reputation. So you have to think about this in a bigger picture. You can't look at everything
fucking
as a
weird.
balance sheet. Like, the brand value of something is massive and extremely important.
So today, we're going to be talking about that. We're going to talk about Steam's latest changes, how they're going to impact the games industry at a rate that...
And also, I'm sorry, I hate pausing this many times, but I apologize. Also, there are people that are employed at Steam that process refunds. If Steam had to theoretically process 10 times as many refunds, Steam would have to pay more money to do that. So that means that the amount of money that they have to spend is actually variable with the amount of refunds they do. So your argument is wrong, but it's also not the point.
Honestly, I don't think we've ever seen before. How Valve is trying to standardize quality in the games industry and how all of this has already happened. But before that, a word from today's sponsor, Boot.dev, which I've been back on the website.
It's also on
recently,
fees.
and one of the things that I noticed when I've been checking it out is that it feels a lot more like practicing than actually studying. Like you're actually learning something on the job. You're not just sitting there watching these lessons just stacked up passively. No, you're constantly doing something. You're coding, you're fixing code, you're always interacting with the platform in some kind of way, which makes you feel like you're actually making some kind of progress.
I'm
and
sure
I think
you know
that's a
better than
big
I do.
difference between them and anybody else. They structure this all like an RPG, XP level, which
not
sounds
true,
like
by
a
the
gimmick,
way.
but it's there to give you momentum.
I've seen
You always
criticism.
feel like you're making progress instead of just consuming content.
Have you guys seen criticism for Steam not doing a better job at limiting games that are bad products?
When you
And
get
not
stuck,
having
but
better
you
quality
eventually
control?
will.
I've seen that
An
criticism.
AI tutor that's not there just to hand you the answer and move on. It's nudging you in the right direction so that you
Yep.
can actually figure things out on your own and don't forget it 5 minutes later. They also have added the training ground,
Idiot.
which is basically a area for you to be able to grind challenges until something clicks. Now, all of these lessons are free to read and watch. You can demo all their interactive features too. Paid just unlocks the full hands-on experience, the coding, AI help, and progress tracking. And the reason why I think this kind of stuff matters is because these are back-end skills that can actually translate into real job-level skills, the kind of things that can land you a role where you're making 6 figures a year, and oftentimes you're working remote. So if you're interested in checking this out, maybe you want to make your own game, go to boot.dev and use code Legendary Drops for 25% off your first entire year on an annual plan. The link, QR, and code are all on screen, and it's in the description and the pinned comment. Thank you to Boot.dev for sponsoring today's video.
What a nice guy.
Valve is arguably the most powerful company in PC gaming, hell, in all of gaming. And instead
Yeah,
of
it's
using
really
that
good.
position to be able to push some of the worst habits in the industry, they have become more successful than their competitors. They're actually doing the opposite. Steam is a monopoly by choice. Players choose it, developers choose it, not because they're forced to, not because they don't
Again,
have
it is not a monopoly. It is not a monopoly. It's not even remotely close to a monopoly. If I were to guess, I would look at, if I were to predict, what monopoly of game service delivery does Steam have? What percentage of the market share do they have? At most, 20 to 25%. That's it. And I would say if you include mobile, cut that in half.
have any other options, but because it is the best platform, it has the biggest audience, the most useful tools, the kind of conveniences and consumer protections that we just don't see. And that's why I think that Steam means a lot more to people than just being the storefront. For a lot of players, it represents one of the last major platforms in gaming that still feels like it's being built by people who still actually love games. Not just as
I think the reason why people like Steam so much is because Steam makes decisions that are, those decisions are customer first. They don't make financial decisions for their business and then try to insult the intelligence of the user and try to say that, oh, actually this is better for you, that you have to watch an ad.
Types of quarterly
That's the
revenue,
reason.
but as a hobby that's worth protecting. The games, the people who make them, and the people who play them. And lately, they don't just want to be the better example anymore. They want to set a standard. When we look at what Valve has done over the past couple of years, I think that there is a really clear pattern here. They just keep finding places in the industry where they are benefiting from confusion or vagueness or flat-out dishonesty, and then Steam is turning that into a rule. They're making a warning. They're putting in a disclosure, something that is there to
AI
protect
stuff.
their customers.
Yep.
Steam seems to always move in a much larger effort to keep Steam healthier, clearer, and a hell of a lot harder to exploit. Steam is basically the one that set the modern standard for refunds in PC gaming. You have 14 days and 2 hours played. I can't tell you guys how many times this has saved me. Maybe the game just didn't launch.
Think about what would happen if they didn't have that. Think about how much different the entire industry would be.
The recommended specs were a fantasy and the game just runs like shit, or maybe there was just no demo, so I just tried it and realized, yeah, you know what, this just isn't for me. Refunds are always fast, sometimes immediate in most cases, and even if you go past that 2-hour mark, there's been plenty of times that if you give them a legitimate reason, Steam will just at least hear you out.
And that's, by the way, that's somebody being paid to do that. So an individual had to read that.
Compare that to console platforms or any other platform outside of maybe GOG, where refunds rarely even happen, and when they do, it feels like you're trying to plead your case to a brick wall. It's not even comparable. And that same mentality shows up all over Steam. Valve bans crypto and NFTs. They require disclosure.
Wait, I think I wanted that on, didn't I?
Wrong by definition, Steam's a monopoly as it has roughly 75% of market share, is usually 50% considered by a monopoly in the US. No, I'm not. So by what definition does Steam have a 75% market share? Did you guys look that up on Grok, on Google? How are you defining monopoly? PC gaming? Let's go up. How many people who are... How much... let me think of a good way to ask this question. Let me think. How many players... PC only, what percentage of PC players are forced to use Steam in order to access video games? See what it says. 78% download is strongly incentivizes using Steam. Give me, okay, so let's look at this. Give me the other 20 to 30, sorry, 30 to 40, the other 30% of the platforms. You're gonna see the problem right here. Epic Game Store, EA App, GOG. This is all of them? There's no way. How did they get this number? I don't believe this. I don't. Yeah, I don't believe this. We need Venn diagrams now? Yeah, I don't. And doesn't it include platforms like Blizzard? I thought it did. It says Battle.net. Yeah, it did. It says publisher-specific launchers. Yeah, how do you get the data for that? Why do you not believe it? The reason why I don't believe it is because the data isn't made public. So how do you have the data for this? Let me see if I can find it. Ask for the source, yeah. Where is the source for the amount of users that you get for other platforms? Epic Game Store user stats, primary source, Epic Game Store seems, other platforms, broader analysis. Okay, so they're from surveys. There you go. Third-party surveys. Damn. Why do you only believe AI if it says you're right? Because I know what's going on. Obviously. Why you look it up then? Because people are trying to tell me I was wrong. And I knew I wasn't wrong. I just want to let y'all know that I wasn't wrong. So like basically you guys are you're quoting statistics to me that are based off of third-party random fucking websites that there's no data for this. That's the reason why I didn't believe it. It's because I knew that there was no public data being made public about, sorry, I repeated myself. There's no public data that gives you a frame of reference that you can judge this off of in the first place. So anybody that's using a percentage would have to be making a projection. And all of the projections are coming from third-party surveys that use inaccurate third-party tools. That's the reason why. And I knew this. That's why I looked it up, because I knew I'd be right. I wouldn't have looked it up if I thought I'd be wrong. It took me a couple of searches to find out I was right, but, you know, the end result is the same thing every time. Go critical thinking, exactly. It's common sense. Where's your data? You're assuming black box? Of course. Do you try to isolate how many unique games Steam has? Probably a lot. It's third-party surveys, not hard data? Yeah. And that's also, by the way, that's also counting inside of PC. PC is not the only platform where you can pursue games. That's like saying that, like, I mean, does Nintendo have a monopoly on Sony on like Nintendo games, like Switch 2 games?
Content is being generated during live gameplay. They have an outright ban on in-game advertising, which I'm going to keep it straight with you guys. That might actually be the only real barrier that's in place to keep publishers from jamming ads directly into our games, because like
we still do get ads in games a little bit, but they're like partnerships with developers where like there's ad placement inside of the game, which is very different than a video game that is serving ads through you directly.
Come on, we know that they want to. I was watching the Diablo 4 campfire chat for their latest expansion, and in the middle of it, Blizzard kept advertising a Diablo 4 themed Jackson guitar, Diablo 4 branded candy, Diablo 4 branded Fanta, and whatever else these guys could fit in. That's outside of the game. This is the version that these guys can get away with right now. They can't do that on their own platform because they most likely cannot magically get away with it on Steam, so, well, they just don't do it because it's just too damn obvious. Steam's rule is keeping these guys in line right now. And in 2024, Valve went after another thing that players have been burned by for years now. Promised content, DLC, expansion, season passes, all of the stuff that publishers absolutely love before it actually exists. Well, Steam now requires those developers to describe that content, provide a release window, and stick to it. And if they can't deliver, well, then they have to communicate with Valve or issue refunds. And if they don't, well, then Steam's going to step in and they're going to handle it themselves. This said, a massive precedent. Publishers got way too comfortable taking our money up front, dangling future content in front of players, and then...
Well, the other problem was things like, because you remember, like, when that happened, that came as a result of, like, games like The Day Before. Like, remember whenever that game came out and it was terrible? Well, I think that after that, people started asking for, like, more user protections for video games that are basically scams. And, like, Ashes of Creation is another example of that. Whether it's a scam or not is irrelevant. Fundamentally, the user bought something and they're not getting it.
Quietly dropping support for that game once it underperformed, or the roadmap just became a little bit too inconvenient for everything else that they were doing. Steam basically said, no, if you're going to sell a promise on this platform, that is a promise that has to mean something. That is a promise you have to keep. But apparently, that's not the only promise that Steam wants publishers to keep. One of the biggest issues that players face today, if not the biggest issue that we face today, is performance. It doesn't matter what publisher, what game, what price, or what hardware you're using, you're eventually going to be running into this. And at this point, I think players are just kind of trained to expect the lie. A publisher is going to tell us that this game is optimized for a 3060 and above, and then we're going to immediately find out that it can barely even hold together on a 4080. And this is not just a PC problem. I realize I have some console viewers that are out there. These guys...
Consoles have big problems too, but generally things are more... like, consoles are better overall, I would say, for optimization because it's a one-size-fits-all. And I think that's the reason why some developers choose not to develop on, like, for example, Xbox, because Xbox is a much smaller console.
Tell you, well, this game's going to run at 60, and it definitely doesn't. Performance issues have just become so common across the entire industry that even with high-profile releases, players are just bracing themselves for the excuses before the game's even launched. When Starfield launched with massive performance complaints, Todd Howard told players that they need to upgrade their PC. When Borderlands 4 launched with some of the worst performance issues that we had seen in years, Randy Pitchford told players that they were trying to use hardware that was just too old for the game. He said that PC players must face the reality of the relationship between their hardware and the software that they run. Like, half these guys didn't build their own machines. And he compared it to driving a monster truck with a leaf blower's motor. Basically, it's not the game, it's us. Something...
I mean, sometimes that's true, but in a lot of cases, it's not. And why is it that your game looks worse than Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, but Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 works and yours doesn't?
That just completely denies all reality to our frustration. And as much as we are sick of it, well, it seems like Valve might be preparing to end that argument entirely. Back on April 4th of 2026, TechSpot reported on a new feature Valve is working on, a feature that could estimate game performance in FPS based on real user data. The article read, Valve appears to be preparing a new feature that could make one of PC gaming's biggest uncertainties, performance, more transparent. Newly uncovered code in the Steam client suggests that players may soon see estimated frame rate data for each game derived from real-world gameplay metrics shared by other users. The feature would represent a significant step towards bridging the gap between official system requirements and actual in-game performance.
Wow, that's what
Even as
actually
studios
happened.
release
Yes, it's
recommended
huge.
hardware specs.
Yeah, and again, this is something that's good for Steam as a business too, because it's less negative experiences the user has.
The experience on diverse PC setups
It's good for
often
users
differs
and it's
sharply
good for
from
the company.
expectations. Now, the timing really matters here because this is coming after Steam has already started to move in this direction. Back in February of 2026, Valve began allowing users to include their hardware specifications in their Steam reviews. So this doesn't feel like some random feature that people are stumbling onto. It actually feels like a step forward towards a much larger system where Steam can take hardware and performance data compared across real users and then show players a much more honest picture of how these games actually run. And if that happens, oh boy, well, recommended specs are going to be a hell of a lot less useful for marketing fluff, I'll tell you that right now, because who cares what any of these publishers have to say if I can go on Steam and I can see exactly how that is running for people with similar hardware to mine. This is
Exactly, and I think that another component of this too is removing paid advertising and compromised platforms from being able to craft a narrative around the quality of a product. So that means that you're cutting out the developer, you're cutting out the publisher, and you're also cutting out the media. And then you have a direct game-to-user pipeline where the users are the immediate consumer and also the immediate reviewer. And so that's basically the most democratic and, I think, fair way of doing things.
Such a massive
The
shift.
incentives
We
line
actually
up,
have a
yes.
platform that's out here collecting user data and using it for something that is actually useful or benefits the customer. Now, mind you, this is all optional. You don't have to opt into any of this if you don't want to. But they're not using your information to shove more ads in your face. They're not trying to sell your information to some
I'll sign
third-party
up.
company so you get an inbox filled with junk mail or a bunch of scam calls from some guy pretending to be your bank. No, this is them using your data to be able to protect your purchases, hold publishers accountable, and make buying a game feel like a hell of a lot less of a gamble.
Exactly.
Honestly, I'm kind of shocked that nothing like this has ever existed already. I mean, I guess I'm not all that shocked because these guys really do like to scam us, but man, this
The
is...
problem also is that there are no other platforms that don't have a vested interest in the success of one individual game that are releasing platforms, like, or releasing anything. Like, I mean, besides Epic Games and, like, good old games, like, most of the other platforms that exist have a vested interest in the success of the game. So they never want to show and display a user a specification requirement that is underneath, or sorry, that's above what they have. So it's, again, a problem of incentives. Like, whenever you have an incentive that a person has to misrepresent something, you should expect to see a misrepresentation.
just so obviously useful. Instead of getting gaslit by these vague specs and cherry-picked footage that were constantly shown, players can now see at first glance how this game is performing for everybody else. You can see whether or not this game is going to be up to par for the hardware that you have before you even spend the money. And now for developers, I've talked to a few of them, these guys are cheering this on, especially indie developers, because this doesn't just help the customers, it can save these smaller teams a
Slay the Spire only runs at 3 FPS on my computer.
ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, I don't
Not
think I
every
need to
single
worry about
studio
this.
can afford to have a third-party across the mountain of different hardware configurations. Not every team can fill an office with a bunch of test machines just to get a partial idea of how that game is going to perform. But if Steam can surface real-world performance data from actual players, well,
Shouldn't
that
have done
gives
that.
these developers a hell of a lot clearer of a
defend
picture,
first.
too. And for Valve, man, this is just smart. That's all I have to say. They don't publish their return numbers, but I would have to imagine that a
Put
massive
thorns on
amount of Steam refunds likely come from games just not performing the way that players probably expected.
Exactly. Yeah. People, they have to do a refund, then they have to deal with it. It's annoying, right? It's annoying for Steam. It's annoying for the user. Basically, like a game refund is a world where everyone loses. The only people that don't lose is not Microsoft, excuse me, MasterCard and Visa, because they're processing the transaction and they get a processing fee regardless. Everybody else loses out.
The game didn't run right, the specs were misleading, the player then spends an hour trying to fix it, and they finally just refund it. So a tool like this is going to help everyone. Players, because we're going to be able to make better buying decisions, developers, because they're going to get performance feedback, and Steam, because they're going to reduce a pretty sizable chunk of their own refund by preventing all these bad purchases before they even happen.
Everybody wins.
Man, I really hope that people understand just how massive of a change this is going to be. It is going to be a huge disruption to the games industry. It is going to instantaneously impact the way that these companies approach recommended hardware, how they approach performance and optimization. When you have something that is this transparent, that is likely going to be just textured right off the store page, you don't have an option. You have to optimize that game. Otherwise, you're going to launch it with a scarlet letter before players even press buy. If I'm Xbox or PlayStation and I was thinking about going exclusive...
This is exactly what I was saying before about how, like, I think Jeff Keighley, I would really like if he replaced one of his awards, like one of the dumb awards, with the best optimized game. Because I think that, like, we're getting into a world where video game graphics are plateauing. And they've been plateauing for the last 5 years, right? Probably even longer than that.
The ammo fat, I can't.
And right now, optimization is
There's
like
a box.
huge value add.
There we go.
I think the difference between playing something
And this
like
last thing should go in
Desert
this
or,
here.
you know, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and then comparing that to Cyberpunk at release, or to what's another game that's badly optimized? World of Warcraft, or something else, right? Like, what year was it that World of Warcraft finally stopped running on one core? Like, what was it, 2019 or something like that? It's crazy. Monster Hunter Wilds, that's the one I was thinking of. Wukong had minimal problems, but it did have some.
Dude, I'm definitely thinking about doing it now, that's for sure. No more
Dragon's
guesswork.
Dogma 2.
You're going to know exactly what you're buying. And also, as a byproduct, we're going to know immediately who the real problem is. And with the long history that a lot of these companies have of pushing out games well before they were actually finished, it's going to be these publishers. You know, for years now, these guys have been trying to push prices higher and higher, always trying to standardize a level of pricing that they want to be able to make, always expecting more from us without ever
Like, how much money do I got?
Well, the problem also is that, like, fundamentally,
$1,000.
this is a
I'm
decision
gonna go
that helps players make an
see if I
informed
can
purchase with their money. And I think that you're starting to
hang
see
on.
some of these very
I don't think I found it yet.
decisions that are being made start to regress because the market is now accommodating for them. The market is maturing and it's stopping, like, the PC gaming market eventually will always hit a plateau, right? Where, like, you basically have the amount of people that are going to PC game are PC gaming, right? And you're going to have a natural increase over time, but, like, the exponential increase that they saw maybe during COVID or during, like, I'd say like 2013 or 14, whenever a lot of people got PCs, you're probably not going to see that anymore, right? So you're reaching market maturity. At that point, now we can start to hopefully see some of these bad consumer practices be called back, right? To be clawed back. Because you're not seeing the same type of companies that are saying, oh, well, this is okay to do now.
At that time, these guys have never...
Because now it's harder to sell a product.
Standardized the level of quality. Not a single time.
PC gaming is kind of lost right now? Really? I think PC gaming...
Now, these games have to come out complete, or they have to come out truthful.
Exactly.
Which is it going to be? Can't imagine they're going to like either one. I can't tell you guys how ecstatic I am over this. This is one of the greatest changes that I've ever seen in the games industry in many, many years. And it's something that nobody can fight. It's just good for the players, it's good for the games, it's good for developers, it's good for the industry, it's healthy overall. The only people it's not healthy for are the people that are trying to scam people. Yeah, that's it.
It's not healthy for
Valve
scammers.
isn't standardizing the games industry by trying to ask these companies, these publishers, to be better. No, instead, they're just making excuses impossible to sell. I love it. It's beautiful business. And while I really appreciate what Valve is doing and what they're trying to push towards right now, the real question is, what are they up to? If there's one thing that I pride myself on, is that I don't take anything at face value. So when
I think absolutely they're building this to make it to where the Steam box that they're making, the GameCube, has a better, like, there's a better indicator of the performance of a game for people that are going to be purchasing games for their platform.
I see Valve making moves like this, I don't look at it as some random quality of life feature. I look at the pattern around it because Valve just keeps doing this. They keep finding these places where the industry is benefiting from confusion, vague promises, or flat-out excuses, and they're building systems around those things to protect us and make those excuses a lot harder to sell. It feels like Valve is trying to rebuild trust in the games industry, at least on their platform. We almost never see the games industry trying to standardize around anything in a positive direction. Instead, it's always been about pricing or mass production.
Yeah, we're going to standardize around gotcha mechanics. We're going to standardize battle passes. We're going to standardize open world exploration. We're going to standardize pricing. By the way, it's high.
Producing games, subscription services, always normalizing things against us rather than for us because, well, they make a hell of a lot more money doing the opposite. And we have definitely never seen these guys try to standardize around a level of quality, well, except for once. We used to have the Nintendo seal of quality. It existed because consumer trust had completely collapsed.
Oh, that's true, by the way. Nintendo, like, if there was a Nintendo game and it was made, like, you knew this game was going to be really good. Like, you didn't buy bad Nintendo games. Like, I mean, there were like third-party publishers that made games that were like kind of shitty, but like in general, like if you bought a new Mario game, if you bought a new Final Fantasy game, you know, if the game said SquareSoft under it,
after the video game crash in 1983. That seal had read, "This seal has your assurance that Nintendo has evaluated and approved the quality of this product." The point was pretty simple. If the game had that seal, it was supposed to function.
I'm trying to get to
this game works.
the Turga.
We lost that.
Shit, I'm gonna hit these rocks. No, I'm not.
Quality to eventually becoming the official.
But I'm way too low level, so I'm trying to sneak through. I thought that wave was a rock for a minute, but anyway,
I really think
if I could slip past these guys, because these guys will fuck my shit up.
I really just don't think this is just awful.
Nope, they're coming straight for me.
It doesn't have to look like fucking
God damn it.
but like this is just, it's so bad now.
I might be able to outrun them.
It's so awful. Play Xenoblade. I've only heard good things about Xenoblade. I think I'm going to.
I mean, today launching broken, unfinished, unsupported slop is basically normalized at this point. Players don't even expect those.
Ah, shit.
Ship did green and none went by, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. We'd be better off in a nice clean jail. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. With all I did and plenty of ale, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. It's growl you may and go ye must. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. It matters not whether last or first, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Way up, she rises, way up, she rises, way up, she rises early in the morning. What will we do with the drunken sailor? What will we do with the drunken sailor? What will we do with the drunken sailor early in the morning? Way up, she rises, way up, she rises, way up, she rises. scuppers with a hose pipe on him. Put him in the scuppers with a hose pipe on him. Early in the morning. Way up she rises, way up she rises, way up she rises. Early in the morning. Put him in a longboat till he's sober. Put him in a longboat till he's sober. Put him in a longboat till he's sober. Early in the morning. Way up she rises, way up she rises, way up she rises. Early in the morning. Way up she rises, way up she rises, way up she rises. Early in the morning. As I was a-rolling down Paradise Street, way blow the man down, a handsome flash packet I chanced for to meet. Give me some time to blow the man down. This spanking flash packet, she said unto me, way blow the man down. There's a dandy full rigger just ready for sea. Give me some time to blow the man down. Blow the man down, police, blow the man down. Way, hey, blow the man down. Blow him right over to Liverpool town. Give me some time to blow the man down. This dandy full rigger to London was bound. Way, hey, blow the man down. She was very well rigged and very well found. Give me some time to blow the man down. So I packed up my sea bags and signed on that day. Way, hey, blow the man down. And with this flash packet I spent me half pay. Give me some time to blow the man down. Blow the man down, police, blow the man down. Way, hey, blow the man down. Blow him right over to Liverpool town. Give me some time to blow the man down. Now lads, we're outward bound for Mobile town with a heave-ho-ho, and we'll heave the old wheel round and round. Good morning, ladies all. And when we get to Mobile town with a heave-ho-ho, oh, 'tis there we'll drink and sorrows drown. Good morning, ladies all. Them girls down south are free and gay with a heave-ho-ho. With them we'll spend our hard-earned pay. Good morning, ladies all. We'll swing around, we'll have good fun with a heave-ho-ho. And soon we'll be back on the homeward run. Good morning, ladies all. And when we get to Bristol town with a heave-ho-ho, for the very last time we'll waltz around. Good morning, ladies all. With Paul and Meg and Sally too with a heave-ho-ho. Oh, we'll drink and dance with a hullabaloo. Good morning, ladies all. So a long goodbye to all you dears with a heave-ho-ho. Don't cry for us, don't waste your tears. Good morning, ladies all. All hands! It's a damn tough life, full of toil and strife, where women undergo. We don't give a damn when the gale is done, how hard the winds did blow. 'Cause we're homeward bound, it's a grand old sound, on a good ship, taut and free. And we don't give a damn when we drink our rum, put the through your post.
There should be a thing, a fast travel. There we go. I came back here for food. Alright, there. Now I feel better. Hello, fine sir. I am interested in your wares. I'm not interested in your wares. I'm always interested in your wares. What do you got? I need to go back and get insignias and see if I can score what I need. Bip. I don't have enough gold ones to buy what I... Why am I looking at this when I should be looking at this? And then we'll run and talk to Home Slays.
You didn't sail in here on sea turtles, did you?
We'll talk to his big buddy here.
It's expensive.
Right? Are they all smugglers?
Hard times need records.
Oh, there's Summer. But he's a smuggler, I think.
This doesn't belong in a museum.
Okay, so yeah, he's a smuggler. I gotta chum up with that. Let's see what that gets me, huh? Not a lot. Well, I got a lot of letters of recommendation. I got 118 of these things, man. Like, I'm not even kidding. I'm a ship sinking motherfucker, man. Might as well get rid of these two. Alright, well.
This doesn't belong in a museum.
Well, I can get everything I need. I need this. And I need this. Alright. Thank you, sir. Oh yeah, I forgot I was supposed to be asking around for... I was supposed to be doing quests over here.
He's got a long memory. Would you like a drink?
Let's see if I remember where I parked. Nope. Look, it's down this way. Why can't I just take this boat? I'm a pirate. I didn't mean to fall in the water, but...
Ship's under your hand, Captain. Lead off speed. There's more sail. All at once, I thought I heard the old man say, "Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Tomorrow ye will get your pay, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is done, and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. For the wind was foul, and the sea ran high. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. She shipped it green, and none went by, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is done, and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. We'd be better off in a nice clean jail. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. With all night in and plenty of ale, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is done, and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. It's growl ye may, and go ye must. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. It matters not whether last or first, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is done, and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Way, hey.
Alright, I'm gonna log off.
She rises way up, she rises way up, she...
I'll see everybody in the morning. I'll be playing some more. I'll see you in the morning. Good night, everyone.